My child, something was working against this message finding you today. There were forces aligned against the signal that would carry it to you. Something was interfering with the path between this word and your eyes, and yet here you are. You opened it. You stopped in the middle of everything your day contained and you opened it. That was not random. That was not you scrolling past things and happening to pause here. That was arranged. I need you to hold that understanding before I say anything else, because everything I am about to tell you will only land with the full weight it carries if you understand that this moment was already recorded before you arrived in it. There is someone who wronged you. My child, you know exactly who I am speaking of. I do not need to name them, because your spirit named them the instant you read those words. There is a person whose face, whose voice, whose specific actions are present with you right now as you hear this. And I need to tell you something about what has been happening inside that person. In the private hours, in the quiet spaces they cannot escape, in the moments between one distraction and the next. I have been pressing them. I have not stopped pressing them, and I will not stop until they face what they did to you. Most people who need this message most will scroll past it before they ever hear those words. You did not. That was not accidental. That was already decided before you pressed play on this video. You are here, beloved, because I needed you to hear what I am about to say, and I made sure you arrived. If something shifted in your chest as I said that, if something went still or something tightened or a quiet breath moved through you before you could name why, that was not incidental. That was the part of you that has been carrying this without resolution. Finally hearing that the situation is not what it has appeared to be from the outside. The weight you have been carrying was always going to be addressed, and I am addressing it now. If you felt it, type "I felt it" before I had words. My child, I want to begin at the beginning, not the beginning of what they did to you, though I will speak to that fully. I want to begin at the beginning of what I have been doing since the night they made the choice they made. Because you have been watching the surface of things, you have been watching your own life, your own days, your own unanswered questions about why they never came back to you, why they never said what needed to be said, why the silence has stretched and stretched into something that started to feel like it might never end. What you have not been watching is what has been happening underneath the surface of their life, and that is what I came here to tell you today. The night they chose to hurt you, I placed something on them, not a curse, not a punishment handed down from a distance. I placed a weight, a specific, targeted, undeniable weight on the conscience they were using to justify what they had done to you. I placed it there, my beloved, because what they did to you did not go unregistered in heaven. I have not forgotten, and I have built that weight into the architecture of every single day they have lived since. They wake with it. They carry it through the hours. They try to set it down and find it waiting for them again when they return. They have tried to name what it is. They have told themselves it is stress. It is their circumstances. It is the accumulation of everything else in their life. But the real source of it is not any of those things. The real source of it is the unresolved account they carry with your name on it. This is the first thing I need you to understand. My child, the pressure they are under is not random life difficulty. It is direct and deliberate, and it comes from me. Because Proverbs 28:13 says this plainly, whoever conceals their sins does not prosper. Does not prosper occasionally. Does not prosper in certain areas, does not prosper. The architecture of this is already in place, beloved. Concealment produces the very result it was trying to avoid, and they have been living inside that result since the moment they chose silence over truth. I want you to notice, my beloved, what you are feeling as I say that. Not triumph, not satisfaction. I am not calling you to stand over their difficulty with any kind of pleasure. I am calling you to receive what it means that the situation has not been ignored, that heaven did not watch what was done to you and simply move on, that the record was opened, that the account was noted, and that the pressing I placed on them the night they hurt you has been operating continuously in the silence you have been standing in while waiting to hear from them. You have been in that silence, my child. I know that. I want to speak to that silence before I continue, because the silence has done things to you that they do not see and that you have not always had language for. You have wondered, in moments you would not always admit to, whether what they did to you was actually the final word on who you are. Whether the way they treated you said something true about your value. Whether the fact that they were able to do it and walk away said something about the kind of person you are. I need to address that directly before I go any further, because what I am about to tell you about them requires that you hear it as someone who already knows their worth is not in question. Your worth was not determined by what they chose, beloved. Your worth was written before they existed, and nothing they did, and nothing they chose not to do, has changed a single letter of what was written about you in the beginning. Type "I know who this is," because your spirit recognized exactly who I am speaking of before the first minute of this message passed. My child, the second thing I want you to understand is this. I arranged the encounter between you and this person before either of you were born. I knew what they would do. I want you to hear that sentence again. I knew what they would do. I saw it before you took your first breath. I saw the moment they would choose what they chose. I saw the night they would say what they said, or do what they did, or fail to do what needed to be done. I saw all of it, and I did not stop it. Not because I was absent or indifferent, but because I knew that the way they handled you would reveal something essential about who they truly are. And because I knew that the way you endured it would reveal something essential about who you truly are, I did not arrange this encounter to wound you, my beloved. I arranged it because what you were each going to discover in the passing through it was something that could not have been discovered any other way. But here is what I need you to know. The fact that I allowed what they did to happen is not the same as the fact that I permitted it to stand uncorrected. I allowed the action. I did not permit the debt to go unpaid. There is a difference between those two things, and the difference is everything. They are being pressed toward you not despite my awareness of what happened between you, but because of it, my child. I arranged this encounter. I know every dimension of what occurred, and I have been arranging, beloved, the conditions under which they will have no choice but to return to the source of their unrest, and name it honestly. When they are near you, beloved, there is something that happens in their body that they have not been able to fully explain to themselves. Your presence is not neutral to them. It has never been neutral to them. When you are in proximity, whether physical proximity or even the proximity of hearing your name, something in the environment around them changes. You carry my light. I placed my light in you in a way that is not decorative or symbolic. It is functional. And one of the things that functional light does, my child, is make the hidden things visible, not in a way that is immediately named or processed, but in a way that is immediately felt. They cannot be near you without feeling the weight of the unresolved account more acutely than they feel it in your absence. This is not a metaphor. This is the mechanics of how I built the connection between the two of you, and it means that every time they encounter you, the pressing intensifies. Their discomfort in your presence is not about you. It is about what they are carrying into every moment with you. A weight with your name on it, and a conscience that has not been cleared. Type "I was there" because you were there for everything I arranged. Every moment I saw, every night you carried what was too heavy alone, the misfortune, my child. I need to speak about the misfortune because there have been things closing on them since they wronged you. Things they have noticed but perhaps not connected to the right source. Doors that seemed like they should open and did not. Relationships that seemed stable and began to crack. Plans that seemed to be coming together and came apart just at the point they should have landed. They have built explanations for each of these individually, because each of them has a local explanation. But the underlying pattern is something they have begun, in their quieter moments, to sense without being able to fully name. Every door that has closed on them since they wronged you is the weight of an unsettled account pressing against every area of their life. This is not cruelty on my part, beloved. This is the design of how integrity and consequence interact in the order I built. When an account is left unsettled, the stagnation it creates does not stay contained to one area. It spreads. It is not a targeted punishment aimed at specific things. It is a pervasive resistance that touches everything, because the unresolved thing is not located in any specific area of their life. It is located in them, and so the resistance is everywhere they are. Numbers 32-23 says, "Be sure your sin will find you out." I did not write that as a warning issued in anger, my child. I wrote it as a description of how I built the structure of things to function. Hidden things do not stay hidden. The weight of what is unresolved does not stay contained. It surfaces in the circumstances. In the patterns, in the growing sense they carry, beloved, that something is fundamentally not right, and that they already know what it is. Heaven did not just watch what you carried in the silence after they hurt you. Heaven recorded it. My beloved, I need you to receive this. Every night you lay awake in the hours when no one else was awake with you, turning over what happened, trying to find the angle that would make it make sense, trying to understand how someone who knew you the way they knew you could have chosen what they chose. Every morning you put yourself together and went forward into your day without the resolution you needed. Every time you saw something that reminded you of them and had to absorb the absence of what should have been said and was never said. Every time you questioned your own worth because of what their behavior had implied about it. All of that was watched. All of it was recorded. The record does not lie, and the record does not expire. The things you carried quietly, my child, the things you never said to anyone because there was no one to say them to, or because saying them felt too much like asking for something you were not sure you were allowed to want. Every one of them is in the record. Your name is on that record. And what is in that record is not the version of the story they told wherever they told it. The record contains what actually happened, what you actually endured, what you actually gave, and what was actually done in return. And the record is the one that stands. Type what was taken from me is being restored. Because this is the moment of declaration, the moment where your spirit seals what heaven has already moved. My child, because you have stayed this far, what I am about to release now is specifically for those who held on. Not everyone receives this. You are receiving it, beloved, because you remained. There is something that has been building in the region of your life since the night they wronged you. Something that was held in reserve while the account remained unsettled. A measure of vindication, a measure of restoration, a measure of what was supposed to flow into your life during the season the interference occupied. It did not disappear. It did not get rerouted to someone else. It has been accumulating, and what accumulates, when it is released, does not come in a slow trickle matched to the pace at which it was originally supposed to arrive. It comes in the full measure of everything that built up. If what I just revealed has stirred something in you, my child, if something in the region of your chest has shifted or settled or opened in a way it did not have before, I want to invite you to sow a seed today. Not for yourself, though there is nothing wrong with believing for yourself. Sow a seed for someone on your heart who is still standing in the weight of being wronged and has not yet seen the account brought to settlement. Think of them, beloved. Sow a seed in their name. In the name of the Lord, what you plant into ground that is speaking truth over chosen ones comes back to you in the specific form of the thing you have been believing for. Visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. Now I want to tell you what happens in the private hours of someone whose conscience has not been cleared. My beloved, my child, the one who wronged you has dreams they do not tell anyone about. Not every night, but often enough that they have learned to recognize a particular quality of sleep as one that will produce them. They wake from these dreams with a specific feeling that is not exactly guilt and not exactly fear, but contains elements of both. A feeling of something unfinished, something that followed them out of the dream state and is sitting with them in the room before their day begins. They do not always see your face directly in these dreams, beloved. More often it is the texture of what happened between you, the feeling of the moments, the memory of what they chose, relived without the armor of justification that protects them during waking hours. In the dream state, the armor is not available, and without the armor, what they chose, what they did to you, lands with its full weight on a conscience that already knows what is true. At 3 in the morning, my child, I need to speak to what happens at 3 in the morning. There is an hour in the night that has always been different from the other hours, something I built into the architecture of human experience that makes certain truths harder to avoid in those particular hours. The one who wronged you has been awake at 3 in the morning with something they cannot name precisely but cannot dismiss. A restlessness that does not respond to any of the usual remedies for restlessness. A particular kind of wakefulness that feels less like the mind running, and more like the spirit being pressed toward something. That pressing is mine. That is my voice speaking in the only hours they cannot drown it out. I have been speaking to them, and they have been hearing more than they want to hear. In those hours, beloved, they do not have the same access to the story they have been telling themselves about what happened between you. During the day, there is always something else available. Another conversation, another task. Another thing to turn toward when the weight of the unresolved thing begins to press too hard. But at 3 in the morning, the distractions are not available. The phone is quiet, the room is still. The particular version of themselves they show the world, the version that has a reasonable explanation for everything, that version requires energy to maintain. And in the 3 in the morning hours, the energy for that maintenance is simply not present. What remains is the thing underneath. The thing that knows exactly what was done, the thing that has never stopped knowing. And I am there in those hours, my child, not accusing them in a way that they can resist, but simply being present with the truth of what occurred, keeping the record open, making sure that what is real cannot be fully buried while the weight of what was done to you remains unaddressed. This is not cruelty on my part. This is love with enough spine to be honest. Their ego, my beloved, I want to speak about what has happened to their ego, because the pride that allowed them to do what they did to you, the specific configuration of self-protection and self-justification that made the choice feel livable to them at the time, that armor has been breaking down, not gradually, precisely. I broke it deliberately because no soul grows while pride remains the wall. It hides behind. Pride can be maintained at a certain energy cost, and I have been making the maintenance of that pride more and more expensive for them. Every consequence that has come, every door that has closed, every relationship that has shown the hairline fractures they cannot fully repair. Every morning they wake with the dreams still sitting on them. The cost of maintaining the original position is now higher than the cost of facing the truth. They do not know they are there yet, my child, but they are. The fear. My beloved, there is a specific fear they carry about you that I want you to understand. They sense that you know, not necessarily that you have all the details, not necessarily that you have constructed a complete picture of everything they did, but that your spirit already perceives the truth of what happened in a way that cannot be unseen. And they are not wrong about that. You do know. Your discernment was working when this happened. Your discernment has been working in every moment since. The knowing you have been carrying, my child, the knowing you perhaps have not always trusted, because trusting it meant accepting something painful, that knowing is accurate, and they sense its accuracy in the way that guilty people always sense the presence of accurate perception nearby, like something has a clear line of sight to them that they cannot fully block. They have been attempting, in small ways, to manage the proximity of that discernment. Beloved, to create distance when they feel it most acutely, to redirect conversations, to redirect attention, to move the light that feels like it might land on them in an uncomfortable place. What they have not been able to do, my child, is escape the feeling that eventually the full light will fall exactly where it is aimed. And that feeling has been growing. I release the weight of what they did, because carrying what was theirs to carry has cost you enough. And this is the moment you put it down. Now I need to speak about what has been happening to their life in concrete terms, my child. And I need you to hear this with the understanding that I am not telling you this to produce satisfaction in your pain, beloved. I am telling you this because you have been living in a world where the visible surface of their life did not reflect the truth of what they were carrying. And I want you to have the full picture. You deserve the full picture, my child. You have been making sense of this without all the information you needed. Today, I am giving you the rest of it. The opportunities, my child. There have been opportunities that were moving toward them, things that were in motion, things that were close enough that they could feel them coming and then did not arrive. Some of these have been visible enough that other people in their life have noticed and commented on them. Others have been more internal. The sense of forward movement that used to be available to them in certain areas is not available in the same way it once was. The energy they bring to new endeavors does not carry the same momentum. This is not permanent, but it is real, and it is the direct result of what is pressing on them internally, finding its way into external expression. A soul that is carrying an unsettled account does not move through the world with the same freedom as a soul that has cleared what it owes. Beloved, the weight slows everything. It does not discriminate between areas of life. It applies uniformly because the soul carrying it is present in all of those areas. The relationships, my child. The relationships in their life have been under a particular strain that they have struggled to diagnose. There are people close to them who have begun to sense something they cannot name, a guardedness that was not always present. A quality of not quite settled that surfaces in moments when a full settledness would be expected. The people who know them best feel it most. Some of them have commented on it. Some of them have asked questions that came a little closer to the truth than the person who wronged you was comfortable with. The questions did not produce confession. They produced deflection. But the deflection cost something. And the people who cared enough to ask have, in some cases, moved back by a small degree, sensing that what was being offered in response to their question was not the full truth, and deciding unconsciously that a small distance was appropriate. The sleep, my beloved, I already spoke about the dreams. But I want to say plainly that the sleep itself, the quality of rest available to them in the hours that are supposed to restore, has not been what it was. The body knows what the mind is protecting itself from. The body knows the weight of an unresolved account, even when the waking mind has built its defenses against that awareness. And the body expresses that knowing in the disruption of rest. In the waking at hours when rest should still be available, in the dreams that carry the texture of unfinished things, in the tiredness that persists into the morning, even after what should have been enough hours. They are running on a deficit that no amount of ordinary rest can fully address. Because what is making them tired is not located in the body. It is located in the place where their conscience and their choice are in unresolved conflict. Luke 8:17 says that nothing is hidden that will not be disclosed, and nothing is secret that will not be known and come to light. I did not write that as a commentary on eventual judgment at the end of time, my child. I wrote it as a description of what happens in the ordinary span of a human life when something that is true is being suppressed. The suppression is never complete, beloved. The truth has its own pressure. It presses outward from the inside of the person holding it, and it surfaces in their behavior, in their patterns, in the specific places where their life does not work the way it should, in the relationships where the full truth of who they are cannot be fully present, because the full truth of what they did is also present, and being managed, hidden things surface, my child. That is what I designed them to do. Hear me now, my child, my beloved, because this next part is what I most need you to receive. I am not pressing them toward confession in order to humiliate them. I am not orchestrating their discomfort to produce a spectacle that gives you the moment of watching them brought low. That is not what I am doing here. What I am pressing them toward is the only door through which their life can function again. Confession, return. The honest naming of what happened between them and you, not because you require it in order to be whole. You are being made whole through a different mechanism that does not depend on their participation, but because they cannot move forward while dragging the weight of this unresolved thing. And I care about their movement, not because what they did was acceptable, but because I do not abandon souls. Even the souls that made choices I grieve. I press toward redemption always. That pressing is what they are living inside, and it will not stop until they face it. Type, I am no longer waiting for their confession to heal, because your healing is not held hostage to their willingness. It is already in motion. Type it as a declaration of what is true right now, my child. There is something else happening in them that I want you to understand, something that carries its own specific weight alongside everything else. They want to earn your respect. I know that may sound strange given everything you know about what they chose, but it is true, beloved. The respect of certain people, the respect of the people whose discernment runs deep, who carry something that cannot be performed or manufactured, who hold a kind of dignity that is not dependent on external validation. The respect of people like you carries a particular weight for the people who have forfeited it through their choices. They know what your respect is worth. They knew it at the time they chose what they chose. And the fact that they made that choice did not eliminate their awareness of what it cost them. In some ways, the awareness of what it cost them is part of what makes the weight so unbearable. They did not just hurt you, they forfeited something they cannot get back through any mechanism other than honest account. Your respect is sacred, my child. I made it that way. Not because you are above error or beyond the ordinary human experience of limitation and growth, but because what you carry, the light I placed in you, the way you have endured what you have endured without becoming something smaller than what you were before it, that creates a particular kind of respect, beloved, that people at a certain level of conscience cannot dismiss. They cannot pretend it does not matter to them. They have tried. The trying is part of what is exhausting them, because you have not left. My beloved, because you have stayed through this message to this point, what was sealed is being opened for you right now. The door that was waiting for the weight of this account to be addressed is being opened. The record that carries your name is being read, and what is being released into your situation in this moment is specific to you and to what you have endured and to the particular season of waiting you have been in. Here is what they believe, my child. Though they could not say it out loud to anyone, they believe in the part of themselves that has not been fully reached by justification and self-protection, that you carry the key to something that has been locked in their life. They believe your forgiveness could open something that nothing else has been able to open. I need to correct this belief, gently but clearly, beloved. You do not hold the key to their freedom. I do. The unlocking of what has been locked in their life requires their own honest accounting before me, not the achievement of your forgiveness first, but your forgiveness, when it comes in your own time at your own pace, and entirely on your own terms, is part of the release. Not because I require it as a condition for my own action, but because the full restoration of what was broken between two people, the kind of restoration that allows both of them to move forward with their full weight, requires both of them to be present to it honestly. Your forgiveness is not a debt you owe them, my child. It is a release you offer yourself. And when you are ready, I will walk you into it, not before, and not on their timeline. Type "let the account be settled," because you are ready to see what happens when the weight is lifted, both from them and from the place in you where it has been sitting. What they sense now, my beloved, is the gap. They can feel it. Every day that passes in which you continue to grow and they remain standing in the same place they have been standing since they made their choice. The distance between where you are and where they are increases. They are watching, from whatever angle they have access to, the trajectory of your life. And the trajectory they are watching is moving upward, in the direction of what was always written for you, in the direction of everything the interference was trying to delay, in the direction of the restoration I spoke about earlier in this message. They can see it, they can sense it, and they are feeling a particular kind of urgency that did not exist in the early days after they wronged you, when perhaps they believed the consequences would be minimal or temporary or manageable. The urgency is this, my child. The gap is closing, not the gap between where you are and where they are. That gap is growing. The gap that is closing is the window of time in which returning honestly is still an option. They can feel that window narrowing, not because I have placed a deadline on it. I do not operate in fake deadlines, but because they understand, in the part of themselves that is not protected by pride, that human situations have natural seasons, and that the season in which a return is received as genuine and not as desperate is a real season with real boundaries. There is another dimension to what they are experiencing as they watch the distance grow. My beloved, it is the dimension of genuine longing, not the longing of someone who wants something they do not deserve. I am not asking you to feel sorry for them, but I want you to understand the full landscape of what is happening inside them, because the full landscape is more complex than simple guilt and consequence. Alongside the weight, alongside the fear, alongside the discomfort of their ego being taken apart piece by piece, there is something that remembers who you were to them before what happened. Something that grieves what was possible between you that they foreclosed through their choice. Something that looks at the distance that has been growing and feels a specific kind of sorrow that is different from the fear of consequence. It is the sorrow of someone who understands now that they destroyed something real, not theoretical, not something they had to speculate about, real. And the sorrow of that particular destruction is its own weight, separate from the fear, separate from the consequence, present in a way that sits alongside everything else and does not diminish over time the way other feelings diminish. In some ways it grows as the distance grows, because every day the gap widens, the fullness of what was lost becomes more visible. And I want you to know that, my child, because I want you to understand that what is moving them toward you is not only the mechanics of consequence, it is also the genuine weight of knowing they lost something they cannot easily replace. You were worth something to them, beloved. What they did was not evidence that you were not. It was evidence that they were not yet the version of themselves that could receive what you were. They are not ready yet, my child. I want to be honest with you about that. They are in the process. The weight is pressing. The dreams are doing their work. The consequences are accumulating. The ego is being disassembled. The fear of your discernment is growing. The urgency is building, beloved. They are not yet at the place where they will act on all of that. But the trajectory of where they are heading is clear, and I wanted you to know the full picture of what is happening before I speak to what I need from you in this season. What I need from you, my beloved, is not vigilance about them. It is not monitoring of their situation. It is not waiting in a posture of held breath for the moment they finally arrive at the place this pressing is moving them toward. What I need from you is to move forward, to take the next step in the direction of what was written for you before either of you was born. To stop carrying the weight of the unresolved account as though the account is yours to carry. It was never yours to carry, my child. It was always theirs, and I am making sure they carry it until they bring it to the only place it can be resolved. Psalm 37:6 says he will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, not like a small light in a quiet corner, like the dawn, beloved. The dawn is not subtle. The dawn is not a reward that requires careful attention to notice. The dawn changes the entire visible world. That is the scale of what I am describing when I say your reward is coming. Not a small correction to a small injustice. The full account settled, the full weight of what was taken from you, or what was delayed from you, or what was disrupted in you by what they chose, all of it addressed, all of it accounted for, all of it returned in the exact measure it was withheld, and then some. There is someone in your life right now, my child, perhaps more than one person, who is carrying a weight similar to what you have been carrying. Someone who was wronged and has been living without resolution. Someone who has been moving through their days in the same silence you have been moving through yours. Someone who has not yet heard what I just told you. I want you to do something for them. I want you to sow a seed in their name, beloved. Not a general seed, a specific one, sown for the person whose face appeared in your mind as I said that. Visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. Sow a seed as a declaration that you believe what I said is true. Not just for you, for them. And what you sow for someone else in their moment of need returns to you in the form of the very thing you have been believing for. Before I continue, my child, I need to warn you about something. In the hours and days after this message settles into you, there will be a voice. It will come in a quiet moment. It will say something to the effect of this was just a video, that what you felt as I spoke was emotional response, not truth. That the situation you are in has not actually changed, and the things I told you about the person who wronged you are not real. I need you to hear me now before that voice arrives. Beloved, that voice is not your discernment. Your discernment is the thing that recognized the truth of what I was saying before your mind had fully processed the words. That voice is something else entirely. Something that does not benefit from you receiving what I have been releasing into this moment. And here is how you will know the message was real, my child. The fact that the voice comes for this specific thing, not for other things you watched or read today, but for this, that precision is not an argument against the message. That precision is confirmation of it. When something is true and something has been released, the opposition is targeted. The targeting is evidence. Do not be surprised by it. Do not be moved by it. You were warned, because you did not leave, because you stayed through every part of what I needed to say to you. What was sealed is being opened for you, my beloved. The record shows you were here, and what I release into a moment where a chosen one stayed when they could have gone is not the same as what I release into the moments when people scroll past. You held on, and holding on, my child, has weight in heaven. Type, I receive my vindication now, not as a request, but as a declaration. and type it with your whole spirit, because heaven reads every declaration that comes from a soul that has stayed long enough to receive the full weight of what I am releasing. My child, because you did not skip this message, because you stayed when the length of it and the demands of your day and everything else that was calling for your attention were all competing with this moment. What I am releasing into the next days of your life is specific to you, not a general blessing, not a general turning of circumstances, a specific release of what was held in reserve while this unresolved account was still pressing. The doors that have been offering more resistance than they should have are about to require less energy, beloved. The connections that were supposed to form and somehow kept not quite forming are about to find the frictionless path. The recognition of what you carry that should have been more visible by now is about to become more visible in ways that do not require your effort to produce. Because you stayed through this message, heaven records your name among those who received the release that was prepared for the ones who remained. My beloved, I want to speak a prayer over you now, and I want you to receive it with everything that has been opening in you since the beginning of this message. In the name of the Most High, I declare over you, my child, that the weight you have been carrying since the night they chose what they chose is being lifted from you in this moment. Not because the account has been settled yet, but because I have seen the account. I have recorded the account. I have been pressing the other party toward the account, and the weight of that situation, beloved, is mine to carry from this point forward. You are released from carrying it, my child. I declare over you that your discernment was accurate. My child, everything you perceived was real. Every instinct you had in the moments during and after what they did was working correctly, beloved. The self-doubt that was produced in you by the experience of being wronged by someone you trusted is not a verdict on your reliability as a perceiver of truth. It is a wound, and wounds heal, my child. Your discernment has been healing alongside you, and what it perceives going forward will carry the full accuracy of a gift that has been tested and found trustworthy. I declare over you, my beloved, that what was delayed in your life because of what they chose does not stay delayed. The restoration is not proportional to the duration of what was withheld. The restoration is proportional to the fullness of what I promised over your life before you took your first breath. That promise was not reduced by what happened between you and the one who wronged you. It was not transferred to someone else. It has been held in trust, accumulating, waiting for the account to be addressed. And the account is being addressed, my child. Every specific thing that was supposed to arrive in the seasons this disruption occupied is accounted for. Not in a general way, in the specific way of a God who does not lose track of what belongs to each of his children. What belongs to you has your name on it, and names do not change on what has been prepared in heaven. What I set aside for you before you were born remains yours. Every door, every connection, every season of recognition, every manifestation of what I spoke over your life before any of this began, all of it remains yours. None of it was reassigned while you were waiting in the silence. None of it was given to someone who arrived with a louder voice or a less disrupted path. What is yours, beloved, and the releasing of it is already in motion. Isaiah 54:17 says, "No weapon formed against you shall prosper." And I want you to hold the specific weapon that was formed, my child, the silence, the absence of what was owed to you, the weight of the unresolved thing that has been pressing on your life. And hear me say that it does not prosper. It pressed for a season. That season is ending. I declare over the one who wronged you that the pressing continues until they come, not out of cruelty, out of love, my beloved, because I do not abandon souls, and because the only door back to a life that functions fully runs through honest accounting, and I will not stop pointing to that door until they walk through it. And I declare over you, my child, my beloved, that the rising you have been in the middle of continues, that the gap that they can see widening between where you are going and where they are standing continues to widen in the direction of everything written for you, that every morning you wake from this point forward, you wake as someone who knows the full picture, as someone who understands what has been happening behind the surface of the situation, as someone who does not have to carry the mystery of their silence any longer, because the mystery has been named, and the one who wronged you is being moved toward you by a force they cannot resist. Regardless of what they ultimately choose when they arrive, you are free, my beloved. You were always meant to be free, and I am making sure you are. Type "it is already done" because what I declare over a soul that has stayed long enough to hear the full word is not prediction, but establishment. And your receiving it makes it real in every dimension of your life. To the person watching right now, the person whose name is on your heart, the face that came to mind as I spoke tonight, I want to invite you to sow a seed for them, not in the hope that God will do something He has not already decided to do, but as a declaration that you believe He is already doing it. Visit the link in the description below or scan the QR code on screen. Sow a seed for them. Sow a seed as someone who received tonight what was prepared for the ones who stayed. And as you sow, receive this final word. You are not what was done to you, my child, my beloved. You are not the silence that followed. You are not the weight that pressed on you in the absence of the words that should have been spoken. You are what I said about you before the world was formed. You are what I have been protecting through every season of this. My beloved, you are what the pressing is ultimately moving toward, the day when what was broken between you and the one who wronged you is faced honestly, and the full account is settled, and you are standing in the light of everything that was always written for your life. That day is coming. The pressing is already doing its work. And you, my child, you beloved, you chosen one, you are going to be there to receive what arrives when it does. In the name of the Most High God, Amen.